I run with angels.
My name is Motheo Moeng. I'm a cinematographer, so also known as a director of photography, or DOP or DP. I film images. What sparked my interest in filmmaking is I always liked films. I always liked watching films, but I didn't really know what it meant to be a cinematographer. So I studied photography because I had a love for images, and also I didn't want to study IT or marketing or law like the rest of my friends. So I studied photography, and from photography I realized I like the images that I capture to move. So that sparked an interest in filmmaking and storytelling. The role of a cinematographer is to put the crazy ideas that a director has onto screen and tell the story visually and amplify moments visually that were on a paper that you read or on a script that you read, but put them to life. So using different techniques, using camera movement, using lens choices, using lights to tell a story.
Benakwazi ukuba amajike eduze mfana. Ora kanjani Thulas?
Khuluma ngani manje wena sana?
What makes good cinema and good films is a story that at some point in the film the audience can relate. So I think it's important that the audience can relate. So even if it's a story about falling in love, and you might have never fallen in love, but it gives you some form of a context as to what it's like to fall in love. So I think cinema and filmmaking essentially should come off screen and into a person's heart. What makes me as a cinematographer want to work with certain directors is when I feel a director trusts and knows his vision. So there's nothing more frustrating than working with a director who seems uncertain or doesn't have faith in his own work or his own voice. So what I generally feel is some of my best work is when a director has been able to express exactly how he sees it in his head. The most rewarding thing about what I do is every day is different, and I get to travel. I get to go to places and meet people that if I did an office job, it wouldn't happen. So I think that's really rewarding, the fact that I get to film things and they end up on a screen, whereas they started out just in someone's head.
Zolega man! Tawano eh! Zolego ya kai man! Eh! Tawano wala!
There are cinematographers who I'd love to just go onto their sets and just sit behind a monitor and see them work. So these also are my favorite cinematographers. So Roger Deakins, Christopher Doyle, Emmanuel Lubezki, Bradford Young, Robert Richardson, Rodrigo Priento, just to name a few. Probably some of the most incredible moments of my life. I got to make a movie with people I really care about, and tell a very important story. So being on set alone was incredible because I got to work with, I made the film with my friends. I think that might be the most amazing thing about making a film, is being able to make a film with your friends. And being on set, I mean, every day, it never felt like a job. It always felt like a passion project. It felt like something we were doing because we're fortunate enough to do it. And just being recognized by the country as the official selection into the Oscars was so motivating in the sense that we made the film with nothing. The bare minimums. We made it in record time. We shot the film in 7 days, which is unheard of for a feature film. But because of the combination and the passion of everyone who was involved in making the film, it became such a success. It became the country's official selection into the Oscars. We didn't make the top 5 or top 8 films, but to have been out there and being considered and represent the country was sufficient, and also motivating to know that we have the potential and we're capable. I guess there's always projects I'm working on, whether it's commercials or whether it's films that I'm looking forward to making. There's a film I'm looking forward to making. It's got different titles. It's called George's Stories. It's called Retreats. It's called The Island Scribe. It's about a man who was on Robben Island, and great story, great story. I've also just finished shooting a feature film right now called Catching Feelings, which is a light-hearted drama about middle-class people in Johannesburg and their relationships and their friends and how they're dealing with life. Really interesting story that I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to. Advice for upcoming filmmakers. Well, I assume that by you wanting to be a filmmaker, you've come to the decision because you know it's not as pretty as it looks from the outside. So what I've always known is I didn't come into the industry because I wanted to make a lot of money out of it, or because I wanted to be popular and famous. So I think if you're doing it for popularity and for fame and money, I think already you're starting off on the back foot. You've already lost. So I think never give up. Don't give up on your dreams. Passion is so vital, and no one can ever tell you it's impossible. I think impossible is nothing, essentially. Yeah.